What it is, world, man. World's best host, yours truly, E.T., man. Before I even let this man breathe on this mic, I am going to do something that I believe no one's ever done for him. So I'm going to say this to people. When you make a mark in the music industry, whatever your genre of music is, I think people always talk about, oh, the record did this and you had a record that did that. And I remember being in the club. But I've never heard someone who actually left a mark in the game ever get told, thank you. Thank you for your sacrifice and whatever you had to go through in your life to give us music to party to and to give us a moment to say, oh, I remember when I was in the club and this came on, or I remember being in the car. Wow. I don't ever hear no one just tell somebody, thank you.
Hey, I received that, brother. I received that. That's what's up. How you
JEEZY.
feeling? How you feeling, my guy?
I'm feeling not tall, but I'm glad I'm here, though. Yo, man, listen, I was doing my studying with this book, okay? And I'm over here, like, look, I had it in my phone.
Yeah.
So I'm over here studying this, and I'm looking at, like, say, chapter 2, okay? It says loyalty ain't a word.
It's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a firm believer in that because growing up where I grew up in Southern California, if you grow up around the homies, you know what I'm saying? If it's two of y'all versus 20, it's just two of y'all versus 20. We're going to take this L today because I'm loyal to this. Right. How hard is that to find in what you do?
I mean, easier now.
Yeah.
Maybe back then it wasn't. Just coming from where you came from, you kind of brought a lot of that energy with you. And a lot of these people couldn't trust themselves. So you definitely couldn't trust them. By the way, I couldn't trust myself back then either, just so you know.
Right.
But now...
That's growth right there.
Yeah, but nowadays, you know, it's quality people. Like, you know, he just ran into Jerry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we built things together, but I know where he's at in his life.
Right.
He about his business. He ain't no funny business. Right. And anything he got to tell me is to help my situation. Right. So it's like, I think it's about only quality people. And now I'm able to kind of sift through what's going on and understand, okay, this is somebody that's for my best interest, and this is somebody I might just want to keep an eye on.
My mother says things to me like this in the music industry. She says, people are who they are when you meet them. Right. And until they decide to change themselves, they are the piece that they decide to be on your chessboard. Right. You don't decide your pieces. Right. And I think it's the same thing that you're saying right now. Yeah. It's like, okay, this is where you're at in my life. That's where you're gonna stay until you decide to change.
Well, the thing is though, with a lot of people, is just like it's depending on the circumstance they going through too. Right. You know, somebody's doing well, they good, you know, they gonna be good. Right. If they at a low moment, it might be different because, you know, they're going through something. Right. Right. It makes them have to, you know, which makes them have to go in survival mode. So if
speaking of survival mode, though, $20. Right. You had a crumbled up $20 on the table. Yeah. And I'm reading this. I think it was it chapter 2? Yeah. Chapter 2. Yeah. I'm reading this and I go, dang, $20. Yeah. And all that goes through your brain. You guys got to read it to know what I'm talking about.
Sale. Everywhere books are sold. No, what it was my uncle had he had disability, so he had a stroke. Right. And you know, he drank a lot, but he had a stroke, and he walked with a cane, and he got a disability check, probably a couple, maybe like $200 a month, maybe that. I don't know, could have been less. And I know he liked to drink his cognac, so he would spend most of his money on. He'd give my grandma a little bit of money, because he's staying with us, and then he'd drink his liquor. Right. And you know, he came in, and I was going through my thing, and he offered me his last $20, which I couldn't. Wow. And I knew it was his last $20, so I know if he gave it to me, that I would have to do the right thing with it. Because my uncle, I love him. You know what I'm saying? And by the way, he the best. Like, he talked that talk. He was the one that gave me a little bit of confidence growing up. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because he always called me Lil J, and everybody started calling me Lil J after that. And when I got the $20 from him, I just said, you know what, man? I got to figure this out, and I can't look back. Because he just gave me his last. Right. And even when I see him now, you know, we chop it up and we laugh. But you think of how far you done came, and if somebody invested $20 in you.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
But I mean, but then you think about, it's not just the $20. You're like, you think about who it's coming from.
For sure.
And it's like, you're going to give me your last
money, yeah.
And this is all you got?
And growing up.
And I'm going to go and what? Go buy what?
Right. No, I thought about it. I was almost going to go buy some Starburst, Gatorade. I thought about it. You know right. But I'm like, no, Aunt gave me this. And you're right. When it's your last, it's different. Because, you know, I mean, growing up, my grandma might buy me a pair of Pumas. I know she ain't had no money like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm going to take care of them. I'll take them off and wipe them off.
Get the toothbrush. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah.
But like now, you know, fast forward, you know, I probably couldn't wear a pair of Air Force Ones twice. One, because I'm hard on shoes.
Right.
But two, it's just like where you at in life.
Yeah.
But you go back and you think about when you didn't have. You know, you talking to me and my uncle used to, you know, like laugh about the last piece of chicken.
Yeah.
Because you got to go in the microwave and knock the roaches off to get to it. And we like, well, who gonna have it? You know what I'm saying? Give me a piece, I get a piece. And that's how we broke bread. And that's when I knew back then, like, how much family meant, right? But the sad thing was that he wasn't in a position that was better for himself to give me any values or any morals because, of course, he was leaning on his vices. He was trying to figure his life out, right? So he gave me the $20, but he couldn't give me no game.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
But you know, adversity for sale, right? What it says to me, and I could be wrong, but what it says to me is that there's joy in the adversity. 1,000%. Because it's not only the lessons, it's the gift you get from it.
Right.
People, I think sometimes they see the adversity. I'm having a moment right now, but because I just taught myself something like a dummy talking with you. But the people, because I'm going through some things, but the adversity that you go through, it's not just the pain. There's a gift in there.
Yes.
If you crack the shell of the adversity, there's a gem inside.
Right.
Right?
Right.
When did you wake up and go, you know what? I'm going to start looking at these adversity things in my life as gems. What was the moment?
I mean, it's crazy because I couldn't say I had a moment. I just was on a path, but I went to church Sunday and TD Jakes said something that just hit me.
Right.
And he was just like, I had an acorn, right? And I wanted a tree. Right. But I had to go through some things to grow, right? And all the things that I was going through, which was the adversity, I was actually growing. I was actually becoming. I was starting to understand, like, you know, I lost a lot. I don't think people understand that. And even when people thought I was in my highest moment, I was in my lowest moment, right? I was selling millions of records and still going through stuff. But it set me up so much for now because things don't affect me like they used to because I know better.
Yeah.
Right? And then even if I lost it all, I'm at peace, so it don't matter. I know I can get it back.
Yeah.
But at least I'm at peace because then it was, I was successful in somebody's mind, but there's so much turmoil. Yeah. So I wasn't growing. So now when you see me, you know what I'm saying, you see this full grown tree. Yeah. I want people to know sometimes it's cool just to be the acorn.
Right.
You got the room to grow. You feel what I'm saying? And you're going to go through stuff. You're going to go through stuff in life anyway.
Yeah.
So why not just take it as
Find the gem in.
Yeah, why not? Nobody's exempt.
Right.
I still go through things right now today. So it ain't like I'm just walking around and it's all good.
Like adversity free.
Right. You good. You know what I'm saying? It don't work like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that it's more of a spiritual thing. Whatever your version of spirituality is, especially in the Western world, you've traveled the world. Obviously, I have a lot of friends that are from like East Africa and everything else. The way that they look at spirituality is based off of numbers, numerology, astrology, and some religion. Right. Whereas here, we're kind of taught that that's all like bad. Am I correct in saying that you got in connect with your spirituality to be able to notice what a person's good for, what they're bad for? Right. To see their energy.
Well, I just know that a lot of things that used to serve me then because I was living for survival don't serve me now because I'm living in the love space.
Right.
Like I love my friends. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I love my team. I love the people that are in my tribe.
Right.
Like it's real, right? And when you're living for survival, that's a totally different type of thing. And going back to spirituality, no one taught me about anything that had to do anything with God but my grandmother.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't even learn that from my parents.
Right.
We never even had that discussion. How about that?
Right.
You know, we never talked about what,
you learn when you learn.
Right.
Right.
And my grandmother made me go to church. She made me do certain things. And even now to this day, that's when I go back to. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
With the conversations we had and the faith she gave me. And you're right. You coming to a point where all that align. Like good things just happen because you're in a place of peace, but it's also you giving it up to the Most High.
Right.
Right. You're not just walking around like.
And then all of a sudden you I guess you open up to see energy in a sense.
And things just start coming your way.
Yeah.
You know, good things and good people, and you got to just, you know, and by the way, I'm going to keep it a buck, like karma's real too, because I've been through that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I did some things to survive, and it was the time that when I was going through that stuff that I talk about in the book, I felt like that was karma. You know what I'm saying?
Like coming back, like, hey, this boomerang is like, you know.
1,000%. Like I was praying and doing it, but it kept getting worse. It was bad. Like every day it got worse. And I'm just like, damn, like, if I ever get on the other side of this, I'm going to make sure that I do the right thing. And when you hear me talking about this book and hear me out here, you know, talking and speaking my truth, that's what this is. I'm giving back because I've been through the karma. I've been through the fire, bro. Like I've been through the fire. You know what I'm saying? Gasoline draws.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like most things that people would have been like, I'm just tired.
Right.
I'm just going to lay down and whatever happens, happens. And at some point of that, I just started to come out to the other side. And I started to really have a lot of gratitude, right? And I started to understand, like, I'm good. I'm thankful for the little things. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it ain't even about all the big. I'm thankful for the little things. And the more I became thankful for the little things, and the more that I gave back, and the more that I poured into people, the better off my life got.
I didn't want this conversation. I don't do interviews. I do conversations. I think, you know what I mean? I didn't want this conversation to be about music.
Right.
I wanted it to be about the man in front of me now. You know what I mean? So, you know, talking about history and what was, you'll never really understand why a person is what they are now.
Right.
And I just thought it's more important to listen to you speak more elegantly than most people have known you for.
Right.
Now, this is JEEZY the man. This is JEEZY the father. This is JEEZY the educator. This is JEEZY the book writer. This is JEEZY the open man. This is JEEZY the gym guy, the healthy guy, the married guy. This is a whole different perspective from a guy that I have put. Remember, I think years ago when I used to be at the old station, I had said I had you on my Mount Rushmore of trap music. You
said that.
I said, yo, you know, and these other people's on this Mount Rushmore because, you know, there's a Mount Rushmore of gangster rap from the West Coast and the Eazy-E's and you know, all them guys, and then there's a Mount Rushmore of trap music, and I had you on there. Whew, what do you tell that man, JEEZY, of trap Rushmore?
Right. What
do you tell him to watch out for now?
Tell him then?
Yeah, what do you tell him then?
I would tell him then to enjoy the journey, man. You're going to be good. Just enjoy the journey. Take it all in. Like, no regrets. You know, and I lived unapologetically. Yeah. But everything that I learned then prepared me for now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? When people hear me speak, they're like, well, that's always been who I was. I just had to step into that. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And I would tell him.
And be comfortable in that skin.
Yeah, because
it's not a persona no more.
No, it's real. But I'm still, and it's the thing that people, I'm still the same person. Like, you got a lion, you take him and you put him so, he's still lying. You know what T.I. said? He said many years ago, he goes, listen, I am all of that. Right. I am a trapper. I'll beat you up. I'll take care of my family. all that. I'm all of that. I'm not just one thing. But that's what a leader is. And a leader in having the power to know that you can change lives instead of take lives is the biggest. That's the game changer. Yeah. It's like, okay, I've seen enough destruction. How can I help sort some of this out? Right. You know what I'm saying? I've seen enough destruction. How can I continue? Because I'm, you know, it's like being in a relationship, a friendship. Like, you're evolving, you're growing, and your homeboy's still doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And at some point, you guys gotta grow. You gotta either grow together, or the friendship is not gonna be the same. Or they're gonna be the chess, like my mother said. They're gonna be they're gonna stay that chess piece that they decide to make in your life. You don't choose your pieces. And for me, they do. And for me, where I'm at now, my purpose is pouring back in. My purpose is going, because you know these guys got to still come up. Yeah, they got it. They sold millions of records, but then what do? When you get to a certain point, do you stay in that world and try to keep that going? Mm-hmm. That's just like me trying to stay in the streets and keep that going. Yeah, it's like, where do you grow? You're right, you got to grow somewhere. And a lot of the people that I was in the streets with, and I was like, yo, I'm about to do this music thing, they didn't understand that. Because like, it's like a 1%, bro. You're not going to win in that. Yeah. Why are you wasting your money and your time? And I'm like, I believed, right?
Yeah.
And then that happened, and it was unbelievable to people. But the reality was that wasn't even the real stop. I was trying to get to this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The music was just a part of the journey.
A bridge.
Right? Yeah, so that's why even when it says JEEZY Jenkins, those are all the things that I am. I could put this together now.
Yeah.
Right? You can't just separate it and put JEEZY on that side. Because I've been young JEEZY.
Yeah.
I've been Mr. 17.5. I was that.
Yeah.
I was going through those phases. But when you see now, you see that I'm all things. I'm there. I'm in a place where this is real now. This ain't even got nothing to do with record sales,
right.
No money, no nothing. This is my purpose, bro.
Your book, okay? Adversity for Sale. I love the title, by the way. I thought that was genius. And then now that you're at this space in your life, who has read that book, be it famous or unfamous, that has said, I appreciate that.
Right.
This helped me here.
Right. It's been, a lot of people that I don't know, but the biggest thing was when my little sister called me.
Wow.
And she was like, bro, I didn't even think you remembered all that stuff. And she said, to see where you came from and see you sharing this with people, she said, that makes me the most proud of you I've ever been. Because I know that you don't let people in.
Yeah,
For the first time, you're letting them in, and they need this.
I used to, and I'm sorry, Ron, this is a long conversation, but I think this deserves this. I used to tell artists and label people, right, when I was doing conversations with different artists, I was like, I know you got a job to do as a person. Like, hey, talk about the record and the producer. I was like, I'm trying to get people to be fans of the artist. And the way that people become fans is they get to know you.
Right.
They become fans of you. People love Beyonce because it's Beyonce. Right. And they feel like they love her because they're connected to her. They don't give a damn who produced blah, 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 or who wrote blah, 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 blah. They want a reason to connect with them.
Right.
So this has got to be able to grow your fan base in a way that you probably never thought of.
I could tell you this, though. I've been doing book signings, and to see women coming in there buying it for their guys that's locked up, or guys coming in there buying it for their little brother, or women coming in there with their friends.
Just because you opened up about it.
Yeah. I mean, but you got to understand, these people that are walking in off the street, they're buying books, like 2, 3, 4 books at a time.
Yeah.
And telling you, I'm reading this. I'm reading it tonight. And I had one of my guys, we always leave each other voice notes. And a lot of people don't know, like, I give all my friends books. Like, if I'm reading a book, I'm going to give everybody a copy of the book. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because somebody gave me Think and Grow Rich, and that's what changed my whole perspective. And I think the craziest thing is when people was there and they saw some of the stuff that was happening, and they call you, go, man, I didn't even know you was going through that, bro. Thank you for giving me motivation. I'm like, bro, you just went to dinner with me yesterday. What are you talking about? Because it's different.
Yeah.
Because now they're reading it and they're seeing, what you was actually going through. And a lot of people didn't understand why I was so stiff, why I was moving a certain way, or why I didn't really like interact in interviews, or I always had an attitude. But I was going through it.
But what's so crazy, isn't it a great gem that you got to now realize that if you just did this, not to say there was anything wrong with the past. Whatever your decisions are in your past, I tell people, don't apologize for it.
No question.
Because at the time you made that decision, whatever that choice was, you thought it was the right decision. Okay, fine. Don't apologize for it. But isn't it amazing that this gem that you're getting now from just a book, just talking a little bit more, you're not only keeping the audience that loved you for your trap stuff, but now you're growing another audience that was like, oh, I didn't realize he was that deep.
Right.
Isn't that crazy?
No, it's dope.
What a gem.
Crazy. And it's crazy because it all came from journaling. And that was the games. Like, bro, you got to write about what you're going through and your feelings. And I'm like, it's like writing songs. They're like, no. But as I started to do it, and then I had even like my old banker that was like, one of my first bankers. He's like, yo, man, this is beautiful, bro. Like, he said, I'm a corporate guy. This touches me different.
Yeah.
Right? And for the record, like I don't regret anything that happened in my past.
Right.
Am I thankful that I made it out of? Absolutely. Yes. But I don't regret anything. Because,
not mad at the lessons.
Right. Because if I didn't go through it, I don't know who I would be.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what I could say, right? Because I'm not coming from I can't tell somebody I feel their pain. Like the other day, I went and talked to some parolees in New York, and you know when you hear 60-year-old guys still talking about a rap career, you just did 40 years in jail, and you still, I feel that pain, bro.
Yeah,
because they thinking this is the only way. That's the only way I had. Because there's several ways.
Because knowledge comes when it comes.
It meets you where you at.
It meets you where you at, right? Yeah. And so it's never. That's why I don't get mad at when people figure it out.
Right.
Like I don't call someone too young for something or too old for something because I don't know when knowledge is going to hit you.
Right.
It's not fair for me to call you out for what you don't know.
Well, I can tell you this. I'll tell you when it's going to hit you the most. When you at your lowest point. When there's no more ground to go in.
Oh, let me tell you.
There's no bunker to get in when you hit your lowest point.
When you hit your bottom, it's the worst.
Yeah, that's when you had it. And I tell people, you got to sit in that. You got to feel it. You got to, because that's where you're going to come up with that idea, like that thing, and you're going to be like, I got to do that.
Yeah.
And I hear all the time, I talk about it all the time. You got to know how Steve Harvey's mind was thinking when he was sleeping in his car.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
And quitting, I think he had an insurance job and he had a family.
Right.
When he quit and decided to be a comedian.
But imagine that, though.
Yeah.
Like, you talking about Steve Harvey. But at some point, it clicked. You know what I'm saying? And at some point for me, it was just like, it clicked. I was like, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
No matter what. Against all odds, me against the world. Everything I got to do, I'm going to do it. And everybody looked at me like I was crazy because they couldn't see it, but I saw it.
Yeah.
Right? I just had to figure out how to get there. And I think that was the biggest part to me because it was like, as I showed people, right, including the culture, if you look at the game where it's at now and you see what it's transformed into, a lot of these people I left the back door open for because they couldn't believe that I made it.
Yeah.
So now you got people coming, from the streets going straight in the booth.
Yeah.
And they making records and everybody's like, oh, could he be the next JEEZY? Could he be the next this and the next that? And next thing you know, you got this whole sound of music from guys who coming from the street telling their story. All because the back door was left open and all because they saw me do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, Magic City is just a bigger part of my life. You feel what I'm saying? Bruh. You feel me?
Yeah.
That's a bigger part of my story as ever. But people saw me in Magic City.
Yeah.
They saw me in there playing my music. They saw me in there wearing my jerseys and my chains. Now imagine that. And you sitting there,
I tell people all the time, this is off topic, but if you really want to know where the good A&Rs are at, the Booty Club.
No, for sure.
And it's the girls, it ain't the DJs.
Yeah, for sure.
The ladies will tell you, like, no, this one's actually riding.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So they some of the best A&Rs. Listen, bro, I don't want to keep you. I know you got other stations you got to go to, brother. And I just wanted to have a good conversation about you as a person.
Yes, sir.
And then I wanted to talk about, where's the book at? Where can people get it at? Is it all online? Is there audio books of it?
Yes. I did the audio version myself. So anywhere books are sold, Audibles, Amazon, Apple Books, all that. I did the audio version as well if you don't like hard copies. And the hard copy is available everywhere books are sold. Barnes & Nobles, Amazon, you name it. And Adversity for Sale, you gotta believe. E.T., I salute you, baby.
You, brother.
Give me your flowers.
Thank you, brother.
And it's all love.
Let's go.
Yes, sir.